Hey guys, this is Gaijin Hunter, and you're listening to the Third Fleet Podcast. Boomer episode ahead, even though both of us are technically millennials, because this is episode 50, the Big 50. I just got out of the hospital on a sleep study, so nothing serious, which sounds wild. We'll talk a little bit about it. It was pretty interesting. But please forgive me if I sound a little out of it, but we are excited to be back to talk more about Monster Hunter, games, and life in general. Rurikhan, outside of being sleepy, how you doing, my friend?
I've also actually been sick this week. I caught something like on Monday or something along that line. And so my voice is not 100%. People will probably notice that throughout the podcast. And it's especially worse at night. So it's probably going to be even worse now. we'll muddle through. We'll get through it, I'm sure. We'll be fine.
It's the Getting Old podcast.
It is. We're basically chronicling like us getting older and older as we continue through these episodes. But hey, we're on episode 50. Holy crap!
Generation.
I actually kind of want to see if I can go back to like the very first episode and see when I actually released it, because I don't remember. But I think we're coming up on a year because we missed a couple of weeks along the way. If I'm not mistaken, like every year's got like 54 weeks. So if we're not on a year anniversary, yeah, that's what I'm curious about. Let me see. Third Fleet Podcast. I'm just gonna Google it live. Third Fleet Podcast episode 1. I don't know if this will give me. It did. Wait. Third Fleet Podcast. Here we go. Damn it! This is what I was trying to avoid.
Wait, why does your playlist stop at episode 14?
It doesn't. Oh my God! YouTube destroyed my playlist. YouTube, why would you do this?
It's going in really weird order, right? Like
I will fix it. Okay, podcast number 1. I have it right here, and it was December 9th, so it's not a year yet, but we're coming up on.
Oh wow, we're coming up on it. Wow, I think the next episode's probably going to be our first anniversary.
Yeah, dude, this is amazing.
Exciting.
We'll do 3 episodes. let's shoot for 3 episodes. Oh man! But yeah, so tell us a little bit about this sleep study of yours, because
I just wanted to mention it because I didn't want people.
Yeah, I know about it, but most people probably don't know about it. And it's not anything like too dangerous, guys. So relax. It's not...
Yeah. I had some. I decided to document it and tweet a lot about it because I was pretty bored because there's nothing to do in the hospital. But basically, I have had problems getting good sleep. Like when I wake up, I feel more exhausted than when I went to bed. And I snore really loud lately, which is really distracting for my daughter. And I've had, some trouble losing weight. Part of that, I'm not naive. It's lifestyle related. Yeah. It's me. Let's not fool ourselves and say that it's our genes. it's partially that, probably. It's
genetic.
But yes. So anyways, I've been having problems, and as you know, I've also dealt with some anxiety problems, which I've never been able to really figure out what it is because I'm such an optimistic and happy person. I don't know where I have anxiety, to be honest. So I've been trying to deal with that, and then the clinic that I go to said, "Hey, have you ever tested yourself for sleep apnea?" I'm like, "What the hell is sleep apnea?" And apparently what it is that the muscle, you have your tongue, right? But it's got a muscle that goes down the throat, like the back of the tongue. And apparently some people it's just weaker in the back. So what ends up happening is when you're sleeping and you're not tensed up, the top of your throat ends up just like going down and touching the bottom part of the back of your throat. And it creates a narrow passageway, which means that you don't necessarily breathe smoothly as you sleep. And it can have you stop breathing for a period of time. It could interrupt your breathing. And it just makes for bad sleep, not recovery sleep. So the problem is that it could be dangerous because you're literally practicing deep sea diving as you sleep. So like if you were to hold your breath every 20 times a minute or an hour, 30 times an hour, and some of those are like 40 seconds no breathing. Yeah, that would be pretty stressful on your body. So like when you wake up, it's only going to lead to more problems. So you should figure out if you have it. So I did like a home test. It came up with a result that said, okay, you definitely have something going on, but we don't know how severe it is. So they sent me to a hospital to do what they call a sleep study, which is normal, which is what they do is they attach you with all sorts of wires and sensors, and it's really wild. You feel sort of like you're going into the Matrix. And they wire the living hell out of you to the point you're like, how the hell do you sleep like that? And basically you just spend one night at the hospital, like a hotel, and you sleep, and it monitors everything. So like if you look left, if you look right, if you look up, if you look down, eyes closed, blinking, moving, breathing, it detects everything. So they gather a crap ton of data on you. They give it to, a place that can dissect that data and turn it into something readable. And then they can actually tell you what's going on, which is good. However, the interesting thing that I did not know was one that was my first COVID test, because in order to go into the hospital, they had to give me like the official one.
Anything that you do at a health facility nowadays is going to require a COVID test. And that's going to get worse because we're seeing more and more lockdowns with COVID. So, yeah.
We're lucky here in Japan. Only for the fact that I don't know what's causing it, but we've had a serious major decline in cases lately, which is really good. So like even in Tokyo, I think, instead of thousands, we're having like 19 new cases, 18 new cases. And we're also the most vaccinated of all the G7 countries now, which is interesting. Because Japan has reasons to be against vaccination because there's some shady history with the government and vaccination, but everyone was just like, okay, vaccinate me. So we're like 78 or 79% fully vaccinated, which is great. And we always wear masks anyways, so I don't know what the reason is, but I'm happy for it. But it was the deep swab type where they put it like they poke your brain.
I hate that. God.
Oh my God, that was such a weird sensation.
I can't stand that test.
Like I had to go into a room where it's like someone with like plastic gloves from the outside. It felt like it was an experimental rat, and then they okay, don't move, and they put the swab. And you're like, how far back does my nose go? Oh, it goes into my brain, and it's the weirdest sensation. And so like you're like, it's so weird.
Yeah,
but it does it clear you out? Like yeah, you get watery eyes, you get a runny nose, but then you feel almost like you just got a sinus removal. You feel clear afterwards. It was kind of refreshing, actually. The actual sensation of having them poke there is really not nice.
Oh, yeah. Jesus. You need to stop describing that.
I'm an optimistic guy, so like I actually kind of enjoy having these life experiences, as I call them, because it's the first time, right? Like the second time would annoy me, but the first time it's like, well, now we get the badge, It's like Boy Scouts. It's like I've done the COVID test, I like it. It informs me more because now I've actually done it and I've gone through it. So and I know that it feels really funky as hell, and it can really bother some people, but it's not the end of the world to get swabbed. So, but I had to wait an hour so they can get the full test results, which was fast.
And you played Soul Sacrifice?
Yeah, exactly. And then you just check in. You just sit on your butt for 5 hours because they have to buffer everything in hospitals because they don't know what's going to go on with other patients. So if they think that something's going to take 30 minutes, they'll tell you come 3 hours ahead of time. Yeah. Just, to make sure that things go smooth. But this hospital was just rebuilt 4 years ago. It felt like a brand new hotel or something. It was gorgeous.
Yeah, I saw the pictures. That thing looked like way better than what we have in Portugal. And you had like your own room. It's like, oh, that must be nice.
Yeah, private room and everything. So basically I just sat in a room, did some work, and played Soul Sacrifice. And then late at night, they suited me up, and I realized they put a sensor on your middle finger of my left hand so they can monitor my heart, and they tape everything really hardcore. So like if you turn your sleep, nothing comes off. And so I'm like, can I play Soul Sacrifice on the Vita without my left middle finger? And I found out I can. So it took a little getting used to, but that was good to know. But yeah, so I did the sleep study. So they got their data. I'll go back in December. They'll tell me what it is, but I'm pretty sure what the results can be, which is I'm I'm both happy about it and also just excited to figure out what the problem is. Because once you get to our age, like 40, it's just better to know. Ignorance is not bliss.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
early detection's everything. So don't be afraid of medical stuff. Just get yourself tested for everything. Get the endoscopies, do all that kind of stuff if you can afford
Oh
it.
God,
Hopefully,
I hate those. Ugh.
that was a crazy experience. But so yeah, so I think what's going to end up happening is it was really weird. Was when I walked in there, they said, "Are you okay with anesthetic in your nose?" And I'm like, "I've never had anesthetic in my nose. What the hell is this guy talking about?" I'm like, "Sure." They go, psst, psst, and they spray my. I'm like, ah, and they sprayed my nose. It was the weirdest thing. And then he takes a Matrix-like camera and
Oh
shoves
God.
it up my nose, and I can feel it going down my throat. I'm like, ugh! I'm like, what the hell is this? And he's like,
Jesus
okay, now
Christ.
say this word, say this word, say this word, say this word. Breathe out of your nose, breathe out of your mouth. And it's so weird because you could feel the camera in the back of your throat.
Oh my God. Why can't they
And then I
just?
did that, and
Why can't they just give you like a general anesthetic for that? Jesus Christ.
yeah, and so the doctors was more like, hey, good news is that it doesn't, like, they can tell right away if you have that type of body that has that muscle problem. Like, even when
Hmm.
you're just pronouncing words, like, they can tell. And he's like, it doesn't look like you've got major issues with your throat. I'm not seeing that, which is good. But it's just if you have even minor issues, what it is it's weight gain. So if you have minor issues, when you have fat around your neck, what happens is it pushes it down. It makes it worse. And I did gain weight last year, because of the whole,
Yeah,
you know,
we're working
stay at
from
home and
home.
all that
Yeah.
bad habits, bad sleep patterns and stuff. So, I think what's going to end up happening is they'll probably end up giving me like a little breathing machine that'll push air down my throat all the time, just
I
so I can
hate.
get some so I can get some rejuvenating sleep. Because right now I can't even get rejuvenated. So
It's like I don't know, dude. Those machines kind of freak me out a little bit, and the noise that
CPAPs,
they'll be making throughout the night, you're just like, ugh. Brrr.
yeah.
But yeah,
So I'll
that's
probably
the
end up. They'll recommend that to me, I think, but I think they're just going to tell me lose weight, my friend.
yeah.
Like, get some good sleep with this weird machine just until you don't need it. Lose weight as if your life depended on it, because it kind of does. So I will be going hardcore lose weight mode. But if I can get good sleep, I have no problem, I think, exercising and losing weight. So,
Yeah, the problem is
you know,
getting good rest. The moment you get good rest, you're like you're good. Yeah.
exactly. So, yeah, things are looking good for me, I would say. Everyone sounds concerned, but it's like, no, this is a good thing.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure that we let everybody know about because some of you guys are concerned and whatnot. We wanted to make sure to let you guys know everything
Yep.
should be fine.
This is actually pretty normal for a lot of people, especially if you are not, especially if you're overweight. I think this sounds like a more
Yep.
common issue, because even if you don't have severe actual apnea, like it could come out because of the weight. So,
But
anyways,
we have a couple of more things to talk about. Naturally, we will be talking about Monster Hunter as well. But I wanted to
oh
bring
yeah,
something up really quick, which is the Golden Joystick Award winners for 2021 have been announced. These were revealed like 2 days ago or something. At least that's what the
hmm.
website says here. And I'm just going
Yeah,
to
I saw
very
some tweets
quickly
about
shoot.
awards, and I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, it's the Golden Joystick Awards. This is from Games Radar, I think. And we had a couple of nominations here. I'm just going to very quick fire through all of the winners. So best storytelling is Life is Strange 2 Colors. Best multiplayer game is It Takes Two. Monster Hunter Rise was not nominated for best multiplayer game, which I thought it had, but it wasn't. It's best multiplayer game, I think, in the Game Awards. I'm not 100% sure. I think it was. We talked about this in the last podcast.
Yeah.
Anyway, best audio, Resident Evil Village. No, I didn't actually play it. Did you think that the audio was good? Because I know you played it.
No, I mean, I didn't play it.
I thought you'd played Resident Evil Village because Lady
No,
Dimitrescu and
I wanted to because I liked the daughters, but I never got the chance.
oh,
to
you
play
never
it.
got the okay. Never mind.
And then I mean, the problem is I never got a chance to play it because it sort of went on the back catalog. But then it came to a point that I had already knew the entire story because everyone on YouTube was giving thumbnails with the entire story, so I knew everything about it. 2, I'm not that into that story anyways, and 3, I kind of like was hoping that they would really explore like deeply Oh, no, okay, no, you know what? No, forget it. God damn. That sounded so bad. Oh my god.
I'm sorry. There's no way in where there's
I
no
can't
world where
backpedal
that
from this.
You can't. I was hoping they would explore deeply.
Yes, I was hoping for a huge focus on the daughters, but I think they were just treated
You wanted
as
to go to a
normal
different
characters.
village, sir. Anyway,
Oh, good God.
so for best visual
Anyways.
design, Ratchet and Clank: The Rift Apart, which that is a pretty good looking game in my opinion. I actually played that one all the way. I really really liked it. Best game expansion is Ghost of Tsushima: Iki Island, which I haven't gotten a chance to play yet. I do have it though, in on that PlayStation 5 that you hate so much. Mobile game of the year, League of Legends Wild Rift, which is the mobile version of League of Legends. Best gaming hardware, PlayStation 5.
What? Wait, no.
It did. I'm not
How is
joking.
it not? Wait, what? How? It's not even available to most people.
Yeah, exactly. It's the forbidden fruit. Everybody wants it.
No, I won't even say this. I love my Xbox Series X, but if you told me that was Game Machine of the Year, I'd be like, you're smoking crack.
Yeah,
That makes no sense because most people can't play it.
I think
There's
the
not much of a
nominations-
reason to get the next generation stuff. The Switch
Listen.
is making record sales. How good is it not the Switch?
I think that the nominations didn't help it. I don't remember all the nominations by head, but I know that one of the nominations was like an NVMe SSD drive, and I'm just like, what? An NVMe SSD drive for best gaming hardware? So yeah, PlayStation
What?
5 took that one. Then we
That
have
makes no sense.
best indie game, Death's Door, which is actually a game that I do want to play. It looks interesting. It's like you're a penguin with a lightsaber, and yeah. It's cool. Best studio of the year was Capcom.
Don't. As I say, don't tell me Activision.
We'll talk about Activision, but like studio of the year is Capcom. Best performer
Yay.
was Lady Dimitrescu or Maggie Robertson, who played her. Breakthrough award was Housemarque for Returnal, most likely. Best game community, Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, no.
And it's like
palms there.
Monster Hunter Rise was second place, but it wasn't even close. It was like 40 something percent Final Fantasy 14 versus 16 for Rise. That's not to say that Rise doesn't have an outstanding community, but Final Fantasy 14 deserves it for sure.
Well, especially and like I would say, like online games, like service games, have more active and intricate communities to begin with. But that also means that they have the potential to become sour faster and easier. So the fact that it's not, it speaks volumes.
And then we have the Still Playing Award, which was also swept up by Final Fantasy 14.
Soul Sacrifice?
No. PC Game of the Year was Hitman 3. Nintendo Game of the Year, for which Monster Hunter Rise was nominated, but it didn't win. Metroid Dread won. Metroid Dread's a hell of a good game, though. I actually finished it.
I'll give that. I mean, that's something that people have been wanting for a long time. It sounds like everyone's really happy with it.
To me, I still think Rise was, personally, I like Rise way, way more, but, that's just my bias showing. But Metroid Dread's a fantastic game, so I'm happy they won. Xbox Game of the Year was Psychonauts 2. PlayStation Game of the Year was Resident Evil Village. The Most Wanted Game, which is a...
Wait, hang on a second.
What?
Wasn't Resident Evil Village a multi-platform game?
Yes.
How did Ratchet and Clank not win that?
I don't know. I mean, I think that there are better games that came out that year for PlayStation 5, but...
I mean, Ratchet and Clank is arguably the most influential game. Did it come out this year? I don't even know.
It came out this year, but it's like Ratchet and Clank, while it's a good game, and it's got like the whole super fast loads, and you go through like the different dimensions and all of this stuff, it's a fantastic game. But I think that like if you played previous Ratchet and Clank games, it's not like breaking the mold and
but Resident Evil Village also wasn't breaking the mold, right?
I don't know. I didn't play it. It's not my kind of game. So yeah,
that's so weird. Okay.
Then for Most Wanted Game, so these are like upcoming releases.
Elden Ring, of course.
Elden Ring, yes, that's
of
correct.
Course.
Critics' Choice
You know what?
Award.
You know what? I have to mention this. I'm so
Go for it.
happy. Digital Foundry just did their videos on Elden Ring, and I was telling you, it really bothers me from
Did
their
they talk
from
about the
software
frame
games.
pacing?
Frame pacing. They talked about it a lot because it feels like it's jittery. I don't know. It bothers the hell out of me, but I'll suck it up and play it. That's what I always do. But man, if they could fix that, I would pay $20 extra for my copy of the game if they just removed the frame pacing issues.
Okay, so
Do it.
then we have Critics' Choice Awards, and this I'm assuming is like, review outlets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're probably the ones that get to pick this one. And I'm
Call
not
of Duty.
surprised at all. It was Deathloop, because that game, it's like the most nominated game on the Game Awards, which is, basically the jury is constituted of those outlets. So they're the ones who
Yeah,
won
it's a
the Critics'
popularity
Choice.
contest. So, okay.
Yeah. Ultimate Game
Fair
of the Year was Resident Evil Village as well. And then they have these really weird awards that I was just like, this is weird as hell. So, Ultimate Hardware of All Time.
Wait,
PC.
what?
Yeah, they have an award for Ultimate Hardware of All Time. But wait, this is going to get even weirder, okay? Ultimate Hardware of All Time was PC. But then they have an award for the ultimate game of all time.
What?
Yeah, I don't.
Like, why would you choose this 2021 to say, okay, now we're going to say of all time?
Yeah, I don't
Makes
know.
no sense.
But listen, I'm pretty happy with the game that won. Dark Souls won the ultimate game of all time. I was like, yes, I agree.
They're not talking about series. They're talking about game specific.
Yes, game specific. The ultimate game of all time is Dark Souls. And I was like, yes, this is correct. 100% correct. Yes. It's weird, but I'm happy Dark Souls won. Like, that's fantastic.
Hey,
there's
more attention for a good franchise is good.
Yeah. There's like videos for each of these awards, which I haven't seen yet. I'm probably going to react live to the Final Fantasy XIV ones because I'm curious about what Yoshi P had to say. I just like me some Yoshi P. But yeah, those were the Golden Joystick Award winners. I was happy that Final Fantasy XIV took 2 awards home. Capcom won Studio of the Year. So it's like, it's good stuff. It was good stuff.
Yeah. You make me want to do a parody video now where I give out like 30 awards where it's always Monster Hunter Rise, Monster Hunter Stories 2, and Soul Sacrifice Delta that win everything. And the biggest console of the year goes to PlayStation 5.
PlayStation Vita.
No, the biggest. You get it? The joke?
The biggest console of the year.
And the loudest console of the year goes to. No.
It's not PlayStation 5. It's not that loud. Come on now.
It's not. No, actually, the noise, from what I've played on the PlayStation 5, the noise issue seems, they better considering the size.
Yeah.
I mean, that thing's a black hole, so if it's not sucking up sound, I don't know what they are.
What the hell?
It is quiet, so I will give them that. And I have one of the newer units, which everyone was freaking out about. It was just a small manufacturing redesign.
Yeah.
It ran fine. It ran well. So no complaints.
So while we're on the topic of news, I would just like to give everybody a very quick update of a situation that I've been following very closely. But Activision continues to be an absolute scum of a company. And I just figured I'd let everybody know that Bobby Kotick is an absolute scumbag. And it is what it is. He fosters a culture of abuse in Activision Blizzard. And he's pretty much going to get away with it because he can do whatever the hell he wants because he's got the board by the gonads. And it's actually gotten to the point because a lot of people might think, okay, here's Rurikhan with his anti-Activision antics. No, it's like even Jim Ryan stepped up and started like criticizing Activision. And, soon after, Phill Spencer criticized Activision. And I think even someone from Nintendo criticized. So it's like the big three are criticizing Activision. This is not just me, guys. You're just letting y'all know that this is not, like an easy situation. They got like their lawsuits going on. They got all of this stuff. And in the meantime, I'm actually just sitting here hoping like, please, Activision, get your heads out of your asses so that I can go play Diablo 2 Remastered, which I would love to play, but my moral compass prevents me from doing so, okay? Because I don't want to support the type of environment that you have for your developers over there, which is disgusting. I
I
want people
just
to get paid properly and actually want to develop a good video game. Like that would be nice.
yeah, I would say I hope that this ends up encouraging more whistleblowers, so to say, because like
Yeah.
let's face it, the world is a screwed up place. People are a screwed up species of animal, especially rich men. So like every industry is just flooded with companies that have issues. So I think if we can start weeding some of them out, that's a good step forward. Yeah, I hope any other places that have issues, I hope that they come out with that, and we can get at least one round of cleansing going on. It's not going to fix all the issues. It starts with us. I think it does. Well, actually, it starts with the company, right? Like the atmosphere, the vibe, how tough they are enforcing stuff. That stuff trickles down really fast.
And it's like
So it
I
starts with them, but I think it also comes down. There's a responsibility to the employees as well. That if there's an environment where crap is going on, like you should just stand up and be like, whoa, 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 what the hell, and confront that stuff.
I feel like it's important at this point as well for players to try out different games because a
Mm,
lot of the times when you're playing like the same video game in and out, like say someone who only plays like a FIFA or someone who only plays like a Call of Duty or a specific MMO, I think it's important for people to try out different games because only by trying out different things will you be able to like have a term of comparison where you're going like, wait, but this game is really good in these aspects, and this other game that I've been playing this whole time is actually not as great as I thought. It's just like this was the one thing that I've been playing this whole time, which I think is a realization that a lot of players, particularly in World of Warcraft, are coming to. And I think it's important for people to really just like try to diversify a little bit because I think that as gamers, we can at this point, if you have that experience of playing multiple games, you can kind of identify when there's passion behind a game and when there's not passion behind a game. And I think that is something very important because like I think that most people that play a Monster Hunter game, you can go like, there's passion behind this game because you look at the details and you look at all of the stuff that they put into the game, and it's like, okay, there's definitely passion behind this game. So the developers are passionate; they really want to bring like a good product forward. And then if you go and you play like a different game, like if you go play World of Warcraft in its current state, you're like, okay, there's no passion behind this game whatsoever. There's like one department that's passionate about this game, and that's the art department. There's nobody else that gives a damn about what the hell they're doing
what
here.
is? I mean, I question the average person's ability to distinguish between budget and resources and passion, because I think like there's many cases where you have a game that is rough, but you can feel the passion in the
Yes.
games, and contextualizing it, right? Like it's a smaller team or whatever. Like they can't go crazy on everything, but they chose the right parts and man, did those shine to the point. Or like you're saying, is like when you come into like big corporations where you know that resources generally isn't an issue, then you
Yeah.
can start going, okay, now this feels really cookie cutter, uninspired. This just doesn't feel like they really put the effort, because
The
I think
effort
there's
in,
always
yeah.
passion by people making stuff usually, unless it's like a quick cop off of a game. But I just question whether or not people can realize that difference, because some games are just not good because they were never given the resources in certain departments. But I think as players we could feel the passion. I think passion is something that you can. It's a feeling more than anything else.
But out of those news, one of the things that I really liked to see was because I was looking up the reaction, particularly from Phill Spencer, and Phill Spencer gave like an interview to Axios where he talked also about an emerging technology that so many companies are so eager to dive into, which is the
Oh, good
gorgeous
God!
NFTs. Like I thought it was funny that like on the I think it was on the previous week or something I had seen like some article online that was talking about how I think it was Square Enix, Electronic Arts, Ubisoft, and they were
Everyone
just like
jumping on the boat. We can make money
dying
off
to
people.
dying to jump on the NFTs. And it's funny because, like, look, I haven't looked up anything in regards to NFT technology and whatnot, but I've heard from people, and again, I haven't looked this up, so take this with a gigantic bag of salt for all I care, because I don't feel like researching NFTs, to be quite honest. But people are telling me that the way that the blockchain works is like they can't even store the image on the blockchain, so they store a link to the image.
Yeah.
You're nodding, so you've researched this?
Oh yeah. I mean, NFT right now is just. I mean, I understand the concept, and I think it's a fine enough thing for them to explore digital ownership, because as we move into the future, physical ownership is becoming less of a thing. But then there's
Yeah.
a great debate of, does it even mean something to have? It's like what is it? Cred. To walk in a
Yeah.
room and say, "Hey, that picture on the internet, yeah, it's mine."
Yeah, but
Everyone
it's
has
like,
it, but it's mine. It's like, okay, if you want the cred or the boost or like the ego, like whatever, like let rich people blow their money and be. I don't see the value in just saying, if you really look into it, which you won't, you'll see that I actually own that, but I don't actually have it. I don't exercise rights on it. I can't legally do it. Not to mention that right now the scene is flooded with both.
but it's like, technically speaking,
There's
isn't it like you own the link to that thing, because that's what's on the blockchain?
I could take a picture of you right now,
Yes.
make an NFT out of it, and sell it as if I owned it. So there's tons of theft going on right now.
You can't
Where
do
people
that.
are just
I'll get a lawyer.
everyone is, yeah.
I'll get a lawyer. Don't you dare. No, I know that you can do that, which is just,
But then
it's
it's
just
like-
it's so ridiculous. Like, imagine some.
So it's like, how do you get an industry that is still early in its infancy, right? It's basically being used by money laundering people or scam artists, because they're just, they start a trend, people get excited, and they blow a lot of money on nothing. So like they're getting scammed. You see, even digital currency is still in its
But it's
infancy,
like,
right?
you
And
want to
they're
know.
scamming
You want to
people.
know what's one of the most hilarious things to me? It's like, particularly when I read that thing that said, "Oh, you actually only store the link in the blockchain." And I was like, okay, so you do know that links expire. It's like, unless you're paying, well, like what do you have on there? An ImageGur link? Is that so? What happens if ImageGur goes under? Like, imagine you have this $1 million PNG that you own, the link to this $1 million PNG, but suddenly the website that's hosting it goes down. Do you still own it? How does that work? Because what you own is the link in the block. Do you just go to the blockchain and update the link? Because at that point, I'm like, well, I could just like own a different PNG.
I offer you the opportunity to become the owner of your own plot of air. Yes, the air right above your head in that studio. You can own it. A piece of the earth for just $50. You gonna pay me for it?
Yeah, dude, it's like, it's funny because whenever people were talking about this, I was like, oh, dude, I can sell you the Brooklyn Bridge. You guys want to buy the Brooklyn Bridge? I also have a couple of plots of land on the moon I can sell you to. It's like, listen, I understand the technology behind it. I understand that, it could be an interesting thing. But the way that the internet works, particularly for the NFTs and the PNGs that they're using in that stuff, because like there's the crypto punks, there's the monkeys, and all of this stuff that I've seen, it's like I can literally just right click save as any of those images.
I would say the industry can be fine moving forward. I know I can guess what the end goal is. The end goal being that, like, let's say we do eventually get into like Lawnmower Man, Matrix level, where we have like a metaverse where, we're running around as our avatars, right? And they want to have a thing where they have like a limited run, let's say, I don't know, Nike shoe. And there's like 500, right? And so like in the real world, you buy it for your avatar, you spend a lot of money, or you did whatever to get it. Like, this is from a corporate standpoint, right? Wouldn't it be cool if that digital item is actually owned by you? And if you wanted to, you could do a transaction. Like I could say, hey, Rurikhan, I've got my, first place Nike shoe award for this game contest. It's a cool design. It only exists in the game once. I will sell it to you. Or whatever, is like a collector. And then we can have like digital collections and stuff. Like, I get it, and that's okay, capitalism.
Let me poison the well.
But the thing is, it's
fast.
like, it's just.
I want to poison that well. I want to poison that well like so fast, with an example that's gonna like really synchronate with our audience. So I have this exclusive armor design There's only one of it in Monster Hunter,
Mm.
and you can't have it because it's mine.
But like you said, it's like
I'm the only one.
In gaming, it's so dumb because, as you said, we don't even own the video games we buy. We own a license
Yeah.
to play them, right? So it's like, okay, I can own something in a game, but that game is not going to be around in 30 years. So my ownership is temporary, just so I can tell people, hey, I actually own that. Yeah, good for you, buddy. Like, I mean, it's nothing short of predatory right now, seeing all these companies
Exactly.
jumping on it so early, because if
and
they
you
have
know,
any sense, they'll know that it's not a healthy industry right now.
you know
There's still
that
lots
these
of NFTs that
people-
are bad for the environment. There's predatory. People don't know what they are. There's lots of scams going on.
Oh
And
yeah, dude. There's
is this
there's
really
tons of pump and dumps right now. It's like the cryptocurrency. It's the same thing. There's tons
Yeah.
tons of pump and dumps. It's insane.
So I don't have any. I don't respect any person at a company that makes a decision to say let's embrace this. At this point, no, I just
Yeah.
don't.
And
So
it's
to
like
have Phil come out and say, yeah, we're not really.
you
interested in
can
this
see
kind of-
that, but it's like you can see it on these other companies. Like they're jumping at it and they got like dollar signs and
Dollar
they're like, oh
signs.
dude, look at all the money we're gonna make. There's like zero passion for gaming as an art.
Yeah.
To any of those people.
Well, it's like
no,
it's
let's
the next.
jump
It's
in.
loot box 2.0.
Let's go NFTs. We're diving in. We're hip with the lingo with the kids.
Hey,
it's so
the
good.
super premium gacha loot box might have an NFT. You'll actually get
Oh,
a
God.
digital item that you can own forever,
Yeah,
whatever that means.
Forever is
That's the
is a
problem, though.
very
It's like
strong
for
word.
most people, ownership and collectability makes sense in physical space
Yeah.
because it's something that you can see, you can touch, you can appreciate, and it truly is one of a kind. And replicas, some people are happy with replicas and some people aren't. But like in the digital space, the difference between a real one and a copy is like,
And it's
nothing.
like the other thing about even if they implemented NFTs, I don't believe that these companies would do it right because they'd probably just sell it to you as a microtransaction. And most of the things that I value as digital items, because there are some things that I will value, like say for instance, the dragon armor in Monster Hunter World, like that has value for me because I did the Extreme Moth event back when it was, back during Monster Hunter World. That was an event that I did, and it was hard. And my reward was I got this piece of armor that I can use as layered armor. And I was like, see, that has value to me. Or there's this sword that I grinded for ages in World of Warcraft called the... Damn it, I can't believe all of a sudden it eludes my mind. It's the Blessed Blade of the Windseeker, and I can't remember its actual name. Thunder Fury. Thunder Fury, the Blessed Blade of the Windseeker. And it's like I grinded that thing for months, and it's got value to me. Why? Because I grinded. I worked towards it. It's, me buying a microtransaction, the only value that it has is however many, bones I threw at the screen when I bought that thing. It actually has no sentimental value to me. It doesn't mean anything. Like the Rathalos mount in 14, like that has value to me because I went and I grinded it and I have it and it's my mount.
yeah,
It's
and
cool.
it's not like you can. I mean, what's next? You're going to be able to monetize your thought. Hey,
Yeah.
there's this really cool phrase and quote, and I'm the owner of it. This, we're going to take up Mandela's speeches and we're going to sell off them by sentence, and you'll technically own the words from a. No, come on.
But yeah,
It's so stupid.
that's the industry that a lot of.
So what did Phil say specifically?
Phil Spencer said that at this time he was not interested in jumping into the NFT technology. He did say at this time because I think he also realizes like a lot, and I think a lot of people realize as well that eventually NFTs can become something interesting. Right now, it's just like the words that he used was like predatory and I don't know if it was predatory, but he used exploitative. He said that now
nice.
that technology is just straight up exploitative, and we're not interested in pursuing that business. And I was like,
Amen,
what?
man.
You know what? That's really cool. Like, I really like the fact that he said that. And I know that some people will be like, well, yeah, of course you said that because it's good PR and all of that stuff. Well, it's like, listen, if Phil Spencer is just, is just chasing things that are good PR. It's like, I'll tell you what, it's working, dude, because it's a whole
He does a
lot
very
better
good job.
than the other asshole that was there before him, friggin' Don Matrick, the guy when I don't know, some like soldier or whatever was asking him, well, I go on like tours and I don't really have access to the internet. It's like, well, I have a product for you. It's the Xbox 360. It's like, oh wow, just show me your middle finger while you're at it. Why don't you? But
Phil's a beautiful man. I
Yeah.
love, even if you don't like the Xbox or Microsoft brand, you have to respect him. I mean,
yeah, that's the thing. I wouldn't say that I don't like it. I think don't liking it is like, I usually just play more on the Sony camp, of course. That's because
but you
that's
gotta
where I
respect,
have. But I
good
respect
morals and-
everything that Phil is kind of like done so far, and I like the stuff that he's saying. Like, you can say that it's a complete lie. That does not change that I like the things that he is saying.
Yeah.
I'm not naive enough to be like, oh yeah, Phil's like hashtag our guy. I don't know if that's the case or not. It looks that way. Whether or not it will be, we'll see. But at least the stuff that he's been doing seems to
Did
be
you see
working.
the comments
for
he
that
made
brand.
about emulation?
Yeah, that's the other thing that I was going to bring
Yeah.
up. The fact that he's concerned about like game preservation through emulation. And I was like, dude.
And I love how what do you say? Like, this is a good North Star for us to aim for
Yeah.
as an industry and I like that way of thinking. Like, it's may not be completely achievable, and it's not just like flipping a switch or saying, okay, we'll legally allow something, but it's like, there's a lot of stuff we can do. Like, this is an ideal. This is it's an idea. It's an idea, right? It's a philosophy of thinking that, we should be encouraging and hoping that, games that are released are always going to be able to be enjoyed. And it's such a true statement. And yeah, maybe it's easy PR points, but you know what? The more big PR guys are willing or able to get up there and say stuff like that, and
That's a
you know
good
how
thing.
many how many approvals and how many upper management would have to approve that type of language. So that tells me that the upper chain at Microsoft is either one, they're just letting him run the show, or two, they believe it, and that's a
Like,
good thing. Because if you look
I'll
at
tell you what, like I'm looking at that, I'm looking from my side of the fence, and I'm like, Xbox looking pretty good. It's looking like I just like the leadership there, and I don't see like some of the stuff that you see Sony do, like the needless censorship and stuff like that.
yeah.
That I don't necessarily agree with, So it's like,
I mean, I'll be honest. I've been getting sour on Nintendo lately. Actually, their whole, we're gonna sell a celebratory game for a limited time only digitally. Like
they're
just
doing that.
What was the game that they were selling? And it was like, oh, we're only gonna sell until this date, so you won't even be able to buy it digitally afterwards. They're like,
Dude, I hate that.
they're like,
FOMO
that is so
garbage.
predatory. They're saying we're gonna force people to buy it now because if we make it so you can't buy it, then it becomes like a thing. Like, that's just mean, okay? Like, some people may
It's
not have the
FOMO,
funds right
dude.
now.
It's straight up FOMO, and that's kind of like what a lot of the industry is, working
I can't
around these
respect
days. It's just like FOMO, and I don't like FOMO either. It's like it's a big turnoff. So yeah, I just wanted to basically
Was it Nintendo's trying so Super Mario 3D All Stars is only going to be like a 6-month release, and then they're just going to kill it, the digital version, because they said
is that Super Mario Party or whatever? I forget.
no, it's got what is it?
I thought that was
Mario
like
64 Sunshine and Galaxy.
yeah, but I thought that was like an actual release that they just released. That's temporary. You sure?
The digital version. They're only going to sell
Oh,
it for
the
like,
digital version. Okay, weird.
and it's like, yeah, well, we've noticed that, digital releases only sell for, a period of time. So if we do a limited time release, they'll sell better. Yeah, that's also a scummy ass thing to do.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty scummy. I don't.
Or
like that at all.
overlinking functionality with amiibos, or is that Zelda thing that they had going on? I don't know. There's just something's rubbing me wrong with them lately. I don't know what it is. It's
Yeah, it's like it's hard nowadays as gamers to you see the way that things are going, and you're just like, damn, dude, I'm not a big fan on how a lot of things are going, which is you have to kind of like pick and choose the things that you play
Yeah.
nowadays. And
I
like
would
that.
just say be more of a fan of ideas and specific executions than it is like
Yeah.
entities. There's no way you should, or it's unhealthy to say, okay, this company is awesome. I love everything they do. No, you don't. Trust
Yeah.
me, you don't.
You definitely don't.
Um, it's even with Capcom. Like I may be a huge fan of the Monster Hunter team, but maybe I'm not a fan of another team. Or it's like
Yep.
there's different aspects to bigger companies. So like
That's the
don't get like religious about it. Be like they can do no wrong because you're just gonna have your reality shattered one day.
yeah. That's the thing. But yeah. So I'm gonna bring us into some Monster Hunter topics now because
Hell yeah.
we wanted to talk a little bit about a couple of gaming news because, as you guys are probably aware, if you follow the Monster Hunter scene, there's not really a whole lot happening right now. Even though tomorrow we're getting a special event, which is the Monster Hunter Rise Sonic collab that is happening. It's probably
great.
by the time we're recording this podcast, which is like midnight, it's probably already live in Europe. But by the time this goes up, we'll definitely be live. So you get like the Sonic outfit, you get the Tails outfit for the dog, and you get the Sonic outfit for the Palico. So there's one for you, one for your Palico, and a Tails outfit for Doggo. So that event will be live by then. But another good news, because I do have some bad news, and this is something that I want to talk about. But another good news is that Monster Hunter Rise is going to launch on PC, as we know, on January 12th. But they've confirmed which version of the game is going to be releasing, and it is version 3.61, which means
Hell yeah.
by the time this launches on PC, you're going to have everything that came with the 3.0 version, which also includes
Hell
everything
yeah.
that came with the 2.0 version. So that's like all of the Endgame systems already good to go. And then on top of it, all of the collaborations we've had so far, all of the event quests we've had so far, and all of the advanced quests we've had so far. Now, it is also important to note that throughout the next couple of months, well, there's like 3 months up until February, but I think we might still get like one more different patch in consoles or whatever. But they said that by February, everything's going to be synced up, and then during summer, when eventually Sunbreak comes out, then there's already a date for Sunbreak, isn't there? Because I forgot about it.
No.
God, there isn't
No,
a date.
no.
It's just summer.
No,
Okay,
summer.
my bad. But yeah, by the time
Otherwise,
Sunbreak,
I would have a countdown going already if you had that.
But yeah, by the time Sunbreak launches, that's going to be all synced up on PC, so that is a good thing. PC,
That's very
basically
good.
catching up, and like we said, according to what Capcom's been saying, this is going to be the last time that you're going to have to deal with a delay like this, because moving forward, they're looking to standardize
about
everything.
PC, yeah.
They're
They
they're
care
gonna,
about PC being a valid big platform for them as a business. And it was kind of interesting seeing stuff about Steam sales being, trending in Japan on Twitter. I mean, take it with a grain of salt. The industry here for PC gaming is still small as hell, and
Yeah.
there's many reasons. There's many good reasons, and a lot of. Actually, if you don't mind, I'll give two of them now, just because everyone
for it.
always asks, they're like, why is that? Because you think Japan, oh wow, tech place. Yeah, you come here and realize everyone's still using fax machines. Okay, it's like there's some high tech going on here, but there's also a hell of a lot of low tech. The government has no idea how to use technology here. They're worse than probably any country I could think of. But anyways, the main, I would say,
I don't know, dude. Have you heard of Portugal?
Oh my god. So, yeah, so the one major issue is space. People have to consider in Japan, you do not have a lot of space. People don't have their own TVs. They don't have their own units. There's usually a living room, and that's it. And that's where there's usually only one computer in the household. It's not like the West where you have, the kid has their own TV, or everyone's got their own PCs. Like that just isn't a thing here. And I think space and other factors go into that.
Yeah.
So there's that. So like this, the living room space is very different here, right? Which is why the Switch is so great and handhelds are great, because you're not commanding that screen in the house. Are you kidding me? Two is there's a distribution issue here, and that's a very deep-rooted issue that makes it so that prices are about double what they are anywhere else in the world. The problem is that no one, because the market's so small, no makers can distribute the products here in Japan. So what ends up happening, there's a real deep topic to be covered by somebody someday, about why the distribution is so bad here. But basically, someone's got to take a cut so that someone else can do the work, so they can take a cut so someone else can get it here and sell it. Everyone down the chain has to make a profit, of course. And what ends up happening, because you have no distribution routes here, is they get either one, the prices get controlled and manipulated, and they're also just hell of a lot more expensive. So, if you don't have a viable market where, makers can start doing direct sales to, retailers of stuff, and you have to go through third parties to do it, Starbrewery's got to make a cut, Yeah. Services rendered. So
and then you also,
it's never going to get better, in my opinion. But you know what? PC gaming, there is an enthusiast group I can see growing here, which is good. So like when people say, oh my God, like Dark Souls 3 and was the trending topic yesterday, because Dark Souls 3 plus its DLC it was 75% off in Steam here. So it was only $15 for Dark Souls 3 and all of its DLC. Like,
that is a really good deal.
That's a good deal. So that was worth trending. So that was nice to see.
But it's like, on top of the distribution problems that you have over there right now, we also have the semiconductor shortage that's happening throughout the world. And things are going to get worse during winter. We're already seeing more lockdowns worldwide. So like all of that. And it's like, this is not me implanting fear into your heads. I'm sure that mainstream media has done that plenty. You're probably like immune to it by now. I'm just letting you know that in my opinion, things are going to get worse because, let's just face it, our governments are largely incompetent. They have no idea what the hell they're actually doing. And they've never had to deal with like actual real crises situations.
Yeah, that's
like
the thing. It's not
now.
malicious. It's incompetence.
It's
mass incompetence.
It's not malicious. They're just dumb.
They just don't know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah, they just have no idea. But we kind of went on the whole PC thing. But I'm happy to see more people jump into PC wherever it happens to be. Like I said, so long as people are gaming, I'm always happy that there's more people gaming. My whole thing is always bringing more people in. Like I've been helping Eric get into Final Fantasy.
I was gonna say you traumatized. I was just about to, and now you just proved my point. I was gonna say there's been like 3 moments already in the podcast where I'm like, he's gonna lead this into FF14. He's going to try to sell me on it. And I was just about to say that, and there you go. And you proved my point.
Hey, listen, I helped Socks out. I'm helping Eric's out. When am I going to help you out, Gaijin? Come on. I'm too hooked on what you already got me hooked on. So well, I'm about to hook you on something new. Just you wait. I mean, you can't have that much left in Soul Sacrifice, right? You've done everything in the game. I mean, come on, dude.
No.
Oh my God, this is insane. But yeah, then we also have some bad news, and I'm actually really sad about this. So this is about
bad
Monster
news.
Hunter World, and
bad news.
yes, bad news. And this is, I'm not sure how recent this is because I think this happened like a while ago, but I just figured we'd bring it up today. But Monster Hunter World is removing a couple of event quests.
Mila Jovovich. Licensing rears its ugly head.
Yeah, it's like, so we got the Monster Hunter movie quest being removed, which to be honest, that one doesn't even bother me that much because, it's like I've seen the movie through NCH Productions, and I got the better experience of watching the movie. I got the better version. Did you actually
watch the movie yet?
No, I just watched NCH.
It will make you appreciate how incredibly accurate and funny and more entertaining the NCH
that's
Productions
the thing.
video was.
That's the thing. People already told me that that's the better version, and I was like, "Well, okay, that works for me then. Like, this is good. I'm happy."
But
with this
I think you might actually get enjoyment though watching the actual movie because
I don't know.
It'll look like a parody, like someone trying to be serious parodying the NCH video. That's what it'll feel like.
But yeah, so the Monster Hunter movie one doesn't actually bother me that much. I already have that. Actually, I don't have it on the PC side of things now that I think about it. Wait, it hasn't been removed yet. It hasn't been. It's getting removed on the 6th of December. I think it's the 6th.
Diablos.
It's either the 6th or the 3rd of December. It's getting removed. It's getting removed soon. So if you want to get it, make sure to try and get that one. But, the Monster Hunter movie one is like, I could take it or leave it. I think there's a bigger conversation about the problems with licensing deals in gaming, which suck. Like you have the GTA trilogy that they've remastered, and it's actually worse than the original. Besides the fact that it's got a tremendous amount of problems that I'm sure that you've probably seen some articles about. Like that game is some hot garbage right now. But on top of it, like there's actually certain music that is no longer in the game because of licensing issues, which just really shows you that, the licensing industry, the only thing it's really good for, if we really if we really just like tell it like it is, the only thing the licensing industry is good for is to make inferior products. Like that's just all it's good for. Like right now, we used to have a collaboration in Monster Hunter with another Monster Hunter product. We're going to lose that because of licensing. It wasn't even that great of a collaboration to begin with, but it was something. It was a little bit of content that you could do, and we're going to lose it because of licensing. But this next one is even worse, in my opinion, but it's basically the Assassin's Creed collab.
Why?
Exactly.
I don't know why.
Exactly. It's probably Ubisoft.
Why?
Ubisoft's like they probably negotiated something with Capcom and they only gave them license to the thing for a couple of years or something. And
Why?
it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. It's not even like that much of a recognizable character. It's not like it's Ezio, which would kind of be a big deal. It's friggin' Bayek. I've never even played the game where Bayek is in. Like.
But I don't even understand the idea of like why they
would remove
give them a limited
but
term.
listen,
that makes no sense to me.
And here's the thing to me, right? I don't give a damn about the Assassin's Creed skin. It's like, whatever, dude, I can take it or leave it. But you're actually taking away game functionality at this point, which in my opinion...
There's speedrunners who use that mantle
exactly
because it makes you move faster.
Exactly. This is an actual problem. This is an actual problem because now it affects gameplay. Like there's guides on YouTube that use this mantle because you can get materials faster. You can get certain things done faster. You can get damage boost. This is just like an incredibly powerful item. And why on earth would Capcom use that with an Assassin's Creed collaboration that has an expiry date? What the hell, dude? That's insane.
Is this a Western thing? Because like all the collaboration stuff in Japan before has never had any weird, like, okay, it's an older game, remove it. It's like, well, what?
Dude,
like,
here's my take on this. This is not a Western thing. This is a Ubisoft thinking that there's some hot garbage thing. That's what it is, okay? Ubisoft is a piece of trash company. Like, I'm sorry. It is what you might like your Assassin's Creeds or whatever, but Ubisoft has been selling you the exact same game for the last 10 years. The only thing that changes is the skin, okay? I'm trying really hard not to curse, but it's the same defecation with a different smell, okay? If you've played an Assassin's Creed game, then you've played the Watch Dogs game, and you've played the Division, and you've played everything else because it's all about climbing up a tower, unlocking like a million different things on your mini-map to go do, and then doing those different things, which are just like 10 different variations of the same quest.
So like,
that's what those games are.
I understand that like there's limited time events in mobile games and stuff and the collaborations. And it makes sense because it's a give and take thing. You've got a marketing period. You want to get the name out there. So there's like deals on this. But this is like, it's been in the game for a long time. And they're just going to remove it, which makes no sense to me. And two, I'm kind of curious what Capcom might do because like I'm reading here that it gets removed on December 3rd.
Yes.
So it's like, are they going to just
if you have it, you keep
the rewards, or are they going to? No, I mean they won't remove it from you if you got it already.
Yeah.
But are they going to make it like for anybody who gets the game or plays
it
afterwards?
Get
are
it
they
anymore.
going to are they going to assign it to another quest? Or are they just going to give it away? Like
no, it's like because if it's a licensing thing, if you look at that mantle,
then they can't, right?
that mantle makes you look like an Assassin's Creed character. So it's like you can't, like that's gone. The one thing that they should do, which I don't know if they will, because at this point obviously they're focused on Sunbreak and whatever comes after Sunbreak, right? They're not actively focusing on developing for Monster Hunter. But what I would do is I would just straight up create a new mantle.
Yeah, that has the same effect. Yeah.
Call it
give it out.
Call it Speedy Boy Mantle. I don't know. Like I was gonna say call it Sonic Mantle, but then I was like, no, actually don't do that because that might be another licensing deal about to expire at some point. It's like, no, just call it Speedy Boy Mantle or something. Speed Mantle. Like, you know, the modders are going to fix this on PC. They're going to be like, we don't give a damn. You take it away. We'll put it back in. We don't care. Like, PC modders are like, we don't care. Dude, look at Thomas the Tank Engine, right? They're like, we'll make Nergigante be Thomas the Tank Engine. You think we give a damn about you removing the Assassin's Creed mantle? We'll put it right back in. But it's like, for people on consoles, it's a serious problem. Like, and I think that, again, this is the main problem with this is that this mantle actually affects gameplay. Like, seriously affects gameplay. There's strategies around this mantle. There's speed farming methods around this. It's a speedrunner thing. It's even like can't you get like extra damage if you're doing like a wake up and it's the first hit on your wake up because the monster doesn't see you and you have the mantle and you get double damage. There's like mechanics around this friggin' mantle, dude. You can't just remove it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. It's so ridiculous.
Capcom's got such a wide breadth of IP at this point that if they're listening, which I don't know if they are, don't go after these deals. Like, if they're going to give you like a weird, like 2 years only thing, just make a generic Monster Hunter item that has the ability, or just don't collab with them. Like, you have Phoenix, right? You've got all these other great
I would
IP.
just straight up
like,
not
we don't
collab.
need that.
That's what I would do.
I mean,
I'd be
Witcher
like,
3, it seems like it's going to stay up.
Because Witcher 3 stays up, and not just that, but like if you think about, for instance, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, right? You got Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. You got like Nintendo collabs in there.
Yeah.
You got like collabs from like friggin' anime series.
Yeah, so you know what this sounds like to me? It sounds like companies are getting greedy again. And it's like saying, wait, you have the ability to remove it, which means we can put a term on this. So they say, okay, you pay us this amount to feature it in the game for 2 years, or you pay us 10 times the amount to have indefinite.
Wait.
And Capcom's like, well...
Okay, so wait a minute. So you're telling me that in this licensing deal, Capcom paid Ubisoft?
Oh, hang on. I'm not even thinking about this out loud. Hang on a second. I'm still trying to wake up. Hang on.
Because like if Capcom paid... If Capcom paid Ubisoft, let me tell you, Capcom, you guys got ripped off. Like, Ubisoft gave you friggin' Bayek. Like, if you were gonna pay for something, get Ezio, please.
Yeah, no, you're right. I got it backwards. I'm sorry.
Like, I don't think it would make sense. So it's just a weird thing. It's just
weird.
In my opinion, it's like, if you think about it, it's not like Capcom would want to remove content from their game. So who's behind this? It's obviously Ubisoft. Ubisoft are the ones going like, okay, now we're going to take our ball and we're going to go home. Well, good. Take your stinking ball, friggin' Ubisoft. Take it. Take it and never come back. Go crawl into your hole of free-to-play games and trash open world garbage. And never come back. Then you got
like Monster Hunter movie. I understand that Capcom doesn't own it, of course. I mean, just watch it and you know that they weren't that involved. But it's like, why would they strike a deal with the studio to do a collaboration on an IP in which, I mean, the film is based off of the game franchise, and you're going to tell me that a collaboration gear between something that was based off the game is going to be removed from that is so
that is stupid. Weird as well. It's like it doesn't bother me as much because I don't care that much about that set.
But dumb.
It is dumb. It is really dumb. It almost makes me feel like Capcom went into this from a position of weakness, like, oh my God, we're gonna make a Hollywood movie. And then that thing came out. It's like, it's kind of like the vibe I get. so, I'm so sorry. And here's the thing: at the end of the day, what I am is like I'm a little bit sad because like the Monster Hunter team deserves better than this. They deserve better than this. Like they deserve better than Ubisoft coming in, taking their ball and going home, and this trash studio that made this movie that 90% of people don't give a damn about, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna take our ball and go home too. Well, go ahead, take your damn stinking balls. We don't want you
with
here
the sales,
anyway.
With the sale numbers they have now, they'll have a much better position going into future games to say, yeah, so our game is going to be 5 times more successful than yours.
Yeah.
You want it to be limited? Are you sure about that?
You
like,
want,
no.
It's like, oh, you want to limit us to 2 years? Why don't you take your stupid little Assassin's Creed outfit and wipe your ass with it? Why don't you get the hell out of here? That thing's white, right? So, that'll be good for like cleaning your backside. Get the hell out of here with that.
Oh man, well that's unfortunate, but I think Capcom's in a much better position now than they were before World. So Capcom, give it to them, man. Don't let companies push you around like this.
Don't let yourselves get pushed around, Capcom. It's like we'll tell them, screw those people. You want to take stuff away, take it away and never come back. I'll be honest. Like if I was in charge of the Monster Hunter team, I'd just be like, I never want to work with Ubisoft again. If this is the way that you conduct business, I never want to work with you guys again. I mean, you guys already do poor business towards your consumers. And on top of this, you're going to do this and go away. Never come back. But yeah, that's the story about some stuff that is getting removed from Monster Hunter World, which sucks. But if you have it on PC, it's not going to be a problem because you already have Thomas the Tank Engine. You know, you're not going to be missing this.
Yeah, but December 4th. So if you listen to
December
the podcast,
3rd.
you still have times, or 3rd. So go and get the stuff if you care about it.
If you don't use mods and you care about it, go get it now.
Like on the consoles, like I don't even.
You don't have it?
No, so I never even got the Assassin's Creed mantle because I decided that I didn't care about it.
It's
just like I saw there were some like guiding lands guides about how to use it to quickly go around and gather stuff, but it's like I don't know. I think it also lures monsters out and they get more confrontational with you.
No. None of that. It's like I think it made you. I actually don't remember the exact thing, but I think it's like it makes you harder to detect, makes you run super fast, lasts really long, especially if you put like the tool specialist thing on top of it. And that's why it was so good for the guiding lands, because like you'd be able to run all over the guiding lands and pick up all kinds of materials and stuff. That's what I would use it for. Like whenever I was farming the guiding lands.
Yeah, that's what I saw in guides, and I decided not to use it. I think because I wanted a guide that I was doing to be achievable by anybody. Yeah. So like no prerequisites, and so that's in hindsight that was a good move.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
But yeah, that is unfortunate. Now, I wanted to also talk about, we've talked about the endgame system of Monster Hunter, comparing the stuff in Monster Hunter World to Monster Hunter Rise. And, people go back and forth. Some people prefer the gem system. Some people prefer the necklace system. And I wanted to suggest one to you and just kind of bounce this idea off you, which was an idea that I got, which was how about an endgame system? And this could be done with either the gems or the necklace. Where instead of you having
play
like
Final Fantasy 14 for 70 hours and then no.
No. But like so instead of you actually like, gathering a million different necklaces, which one of the main reasons why I came up with this is because I was like, doing inventory management. I was like, God, this is a pain in the ass identifying which necklaces are good, which necklaces are bad. Or in the case of World, it would still be a pain in the ass because like, I got to identify which gems I can put in the melding thing so that I can then get new gems. It's just a complete pain in the ass the way that system works. And so I was thinking, whether it's through necklaces, through the charms, or through the gems, an unlock system. So say, for instance, in the case of gems, right? I'm going through the game and I do like one of those quests and I get an attack gem. That unlocks 1 point in attack for me to put in my gear. So from the moment I get that gem, the gem instantly gets like transformed into like, I don't know, points or whatever, or some other currency that you can then use at the melding. But it's points. It's not an actual item that you need to be worried about. Oh, and I got to look at this out. No, it's like, no, you picked up a gem. It instantly unlocked one slot of attack +1. So whenever you go to craft, you go to min-max your set and you're like, making your mixed set, there's 1 point of attack that you can put wherever you want. But you can only put one. But then you keep doing the stuff and you pick up another attack gem. And at that point, it unlocks 2 points of attack. So you can now put that in any armor, whatever. And it's like, this would be for the gem system. Does not have to work with the gem system because the gem system's still going to be RNG as hell, right? And some of us still prefer the charm. But you could have the same thing for charms. So say, for instance, you pick up a charm and it's got +2 evade extender. And, charms would have, in the case of charms, you would have to give them like a budget. So you'd have like, say, each charm could have like up to 5 skills or something like that. And you pick up one that has level 2 evade extender. And so at that point, you unlock level 2 evade extender. If later down the line you pick up one that's got level 3 evade extender, you unlock level 3 evade extender. So the stuff that you pick up essentially becomes unlocks. And then you could go and you could just like craft the gem with the unlocks that you've done up until this point, which would reduce the RNG on the stuff. So it's like, oh, you want to have your 3 weakness exploit, 2 speed sheathing? You'd be able to get that. You just have to pick up a charm that's got like 2 speed sheathing and pick up one that's got 3 weakness exploit, which I don't even think that can happen thinking about it. So, you'd probably need to. But you'd basically like unlock the things as opposed to getting physical items that just basically clutter your inventory and demand a significant amount of time out of you in order to actually do management. It's like, oh, now I have to, resell these things back. Or you cannot resell them and then just get like a million different charms. And then whenever you're looking for the charm that you want for your set, good luck, because there's a million of them in your inventory. It's just, I'm just trying to clean that particular clutter because it's really annoying. Because I remember both in World and in Rise, that was definitely a low point of the game for me, was going through and it's like, okay, I've picked up, I don't know, friggin' 300 different gems in the past 2 months. Guess it's time to go through and sit like here for like 2 or 3 hours and try to remember, okay, I want to keep, I think I used to keep like, I don't know, 5 or 6 of each gem because there's always the possibility of you putting some in your cloak as well. So I would always go like 2 above the max skill and it's just a pain in the ass, dude. I remember at some point I was even like, wait, is this a 3-point skill or a 4-point skill? Or there's only one 4-point skill, which is botanist. But, I was like, is this a 3-point skill, 5-point skill, 7-point? I don't know. And that was just a hassle. And I'm just thinking that this would be a much better endgame system. You just unlock stuff as opposed to getting items. What do you think? What's the downside?
Interesting. No, it's interesting. That's what I'm thinking about, right? I think you hit on a good point. I think that they do need to fix an issue with clutter. Also RNG, which I could see that they're trying to make small baby steps to do that. That whole idea that they had where you can choose what skill you want and it increases the chance that you'll get it, was a good idea. I think that they didn't go far enough with it. I think that it quickly fell off. And so most of the skills you wanted, you didn't have that. And it was like, why would you only use that for the beginning of the game and not the end game? It's like, that was actually a pretty interesting idea. Because you could influence the RNG a little bit so that you're not going to be that one guy who is 1 out of a million who never gets it ever, because you're paying to influence it. So by pure luck alone, yeah, maybe it'll happen that you don't get it, but the chances would be very low. So, I mean, you have that. It does bring in a whole list of interesting questions, like, when you unlock, let's say, evasion +1 or evasion +2, are those consumables? Like, is it just one charm that I have with 3 slots, and then I choose which goes in those, and then it's just set from the go, or do I?
You're talking specifically just about the charm system, right?
Or do I make multiple charms? Or you just have like one charm, and you have different slots, and you can put them in there.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine that the charm is basically just like an armor piece that's got like 5 gem slots. and the stuff that you
So
get out of it would be like gems.
I like the idea. I do think though that for game balancing purposes, I would like to see them bring back negative skills. If they do that, for example, if you put on sharpness +1, like it degrades your razor sharp or something, something to keep it balanced. Because I
Yeah.
think there'll be some pretty broken combinations that you can get too early, too fast in the game. Because the downfall, I think, would be that they would become very scared about when to unlock certain skills. That generally they would want to give you the weaker versions earlier, but like sharpness +1 is a huge skill, right? You don't want anybody getting that until they're into like high rank or master rank or whatever.
I'm not
So they're
opposed to having a negative skill system if it means that I could customize the charm to do what I want. Yeah, I think that'd be fine. Although I
or
think
like
that
or
a
just
lot of
things that are just
players,
incompatible. Like you are not able to put, but then again, then you have the armor system, so like you can always bypass it. It doesn't.
I mean, you can
I,
bypass it, but it's not like you're
mm,
bypassing it. You're basically like working around it. Like there's a downside to your charm. It basically become kind of like what is in GU right now, except you can customize a charm instead of having like a million charms. Because anyone who's tried like friggin' sorting through their charms in GU knows that that is like that would be what I would do when I went to the bathroom. I'm like, okay, I'm going to the bathroom. I guess I'm gonna go sort through my charms, right? I'm sitting here in my porcelain throne sorting through charms. That's the only appropriate time to do that. Because I don't want to spend actual fun time sorting through charms. It's terrible.
well, then you also hit the point. Like I guess I mean, we have the same issue now, so it doesn't really matter. But
Yeah.
like later in the game, you're going to end up doing a quest or whatever it is to get these random charms, but 99% of the time they're going to be stuff you already have unlocked. So you're not going to get anything for that.
Yeah, but at the very least, you don't have to deal with having 1,000 different charms on your inventory because everything's an unlock. You just unlock it. Like, it'd be good if there's also, like, ways in which you can influence the stuff that you get. But, at the
I mean,
end of the
I
day,
like that. It's an interesting thought experiment. I'll give you a counter thought, which is an even weirder one.
okay.
What if they just remove the RNG completely? What if they make charms craftable?
So if you
And
have
they
the charms
and
that you had in the
decorations
world.
are craftable.
So you craft the decorations
Charms being
and
more
the charm.
Yeah, but charms being more flexible, so they're not like just set ones like they were in World. But let's say maybe they just cost like really rare materials. Like they are like really hard to get, hard to grind, because the RNG will be like, okay, get me a pallium because this, sharpness plus
And
2 or
how
whatever
and how would
requires
you
some
feel about
palliums.
investigations making a comeback in that case? Because you want to.
What would be the carrot? Why would you want to do an investigation? Just
I mean,
higher rates for
the
rare
carrot
jobs?
the carrot would be just the diversity of things that can happen. Because like right now we just have the preset quests. Like I don't, for instance, let's say okay, I want a quest where I face off against like a Basel, like the super strong version of Rajang, and Apex is an ogre. That quest doesn't exist, but with the investigations, it could potentially be a thing.
Yeah, but that's also RNG, and you get limited uses, and I didn't like that
Yeah, but
part of it
that's
either. And
but it's like it's RNG, but the point is like you don't have to engage with it if you don't want to. That's the thing. Like there's no need for you to engage with it. It's just like for people that like doing it, because like I like doing those. I like doing those random quests because like, oh, this one's got some crazy monsters in it. It's gonna be fun. Just to see the interaction between those monsters and just just to hunt those monsters and the higher difficulty levels and all that. That's kind of like the point.
yeah, it's tough, isn't it? I mean, there's so many different solutions, but they're all bring around pros and cons.
Yeah.
Like I thought once, like wouldn't it be neat if like charms were achievement based? Like if you want to get the evasion charm, you've got to like beat a Lagombi without dying or something. Like just make challenges that are not too hard but are challenging enough that's fun. Or like, kill a Lagombi without ever drinking a potion or something. Like I don't know, come up with some achievement based system where you have some fun goals in the game that are just kind of like normally you wouldn't do that, but you know what? I'll take that challenge. Like clear this quest without taking a hot drink or something like that. Like I don't know, just something, right? Or like
You just got to be careful.
You know,
with
where
that.
you do it and you get it. So
You just
that
gotta be
you're not
careful
giving them
to-
RNG, but you are at least. But then again, yeah, you'd be restricting some. There's pros and cons to everything.
Yeah, because like I'm just gonna give you very quickly the Halo example. People are not particularly happy with Halo telling them go get 10 kills with a pistol, and they're like, I want to use an assault.
Yeah, that's
rifle.
the thing is Japanese companies are really bad at achievements. They literally
let me
just
tell you.
spreadsheet it.
Let me tell
They're really bad. It's like
343 didn't do a much better job. With
collect all of this, collect all of that. It's like that's not an achievement, okay?
Yeah.
Look at the old Xbox arcade games. Those are achievements. Those are fun. Those are really interesting. Like, you know, clear a quest without evading or something. Like, I mean, something really fun, you know. I think achievements should be fun and introduce new gameplay without, you know, changing the mechanics. So I don't have any faith that they would be able to do that properly. That's a good point.
Yeah. But,
I don't know, but I agree. Something needs to be done. I think the system needs refinement for sure. Unlock sounds interesting. I just wonder how they would balance it. And if the balancing itself would make it so complicated that you're not really helping the issue.
I mean, it's like I wouldn't say that Rise or World are the most balanced games that you can play.
So, that's what we do.
I play
we just say, no,
Gunlands.
hey, I got a good idea.
You just break the game.
If you play Gunlands, you get 2 charms, and if you play Longsword, you don't get to equip a charm. Balance.
I second that.
Boom.
Yes, I agree. Longsword users get no charms, and Gunlands users
get double.
It's like I'd put 1 charm in each bicep, and I'd be like flexing on them the whole time. I'm like, hey, Mr. Longsword user, how many charms do you have? Oh, you don't have any? Oh, I'm so sorry.
They're really, you're so cute. You have to augment yourself to compete with us.
I don't care. So long as they'd be the ones on the losing end for once. But yeah, it's like I think that an unlock system would be more interesting. But I don't know if whatever Capcom ends up doing for 6 and for Sunbreak, I'm gonna do. But it's just like
it's a neat thought system. I would say to people, don't expect them to change the system in Sunbreak. Yeah. They're already committed. But I think the next big Monster Hunter is an opportunity for them to improve.
And if they happen to watch this, you know, it's just like, hey, here's a suggestion, you know, it's just throwing it out there. You know? But yeah, that was my idea for a different system there. In terms of Endgame, I'll take whatever they give me. My favorite one so far has been Guiding Lands. I loved Guiding Lands. I know that you didn't like them at start, but you liked them after they improved it.
Oh yeah, they made some changes that people may think they were small, but I thought they were huge. Even just the lure system, being able to control what monsters appeared. Because, man, there'd be so many times where I remember in the beginning we'd have to, you go there, you leave, you go, you leave, and you're constant refreshing, hoping to find a monster that would appear there. That is annoying as heck. Or if I hunt this monster, I'm just doing it just to get rid of them so I can get a spawn rate for someone else. Now you're getting lures and stuff, and you can buy lures, and it's like, the banishing ball is
you
perfect.
Go there and it wasn't even you go there and you leave, because it was funny, but at the start you could actually go to the training area and that would reset. They changed that, but you would be able to go to the training area and that would reset the
it's
the
just
monsters.
Stupid, you know, doing stuff just because the game has a weird mechanic. So they fixed that. The banishing ball I wish was cheaper, or just free. But I love the idea of it. I thought it was perfect.
You know how you banish monsters from the Guiding Lands? You killed them. I'm going to banish you into my backpack. And it's not going to be with a Pokeball either. I'm going to chop you into tiny bitty pieces and take you back to Astera with me. But... yeah, I think something in the vein of the Guiding Lands would be great. I doubt that they'll do that for Sunbreak. I think for Sunbreak they'll come up with something different. I know that people are not particularly excited about some kind of special rampage, but I think that's probably what we're getting. I think they're probably working on figuring something with Rampage, and I think that's what they're going to try to implement on their system. Or maybe not. Who knows? Because maybe they'll be like,
Did you see the tweet the other day from Sunbreak's director?
Yeah, he was talking about they were going to improve the wall running and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is great. And I think the obvious one that everyone's like, okay, please do this is don't make us use wire bugs. I mean, because you technically don't need a wire bug to run up a wall, but because of the way the system was integrated, you need to pretend you're using a wire bug to start running up a wall.
Yeah.
And then it gets you up there. But if you actually have one in stock and it uses it, which kind of sucks. So it's like, wouldn't it be nice if we can just start running up walls? Because I think, I mean, you saw that with what's his name in the teaser. He's running up walls and stuff, right? So it's like, okay, we're all going to become spiders and flying squirrels. It's going to be fun. So like,
Maybe.
I think that'd be the obvious choice that they would do, but I like the idea that they're doubling down on this environmental interaction and running up stuff like ninjas, and maybe they're going to implement something like, the hunter's claws. Like maybe it's just like a part of the outfit that allows them to climb up walls like a cat or something. So that way, it could be seamless. That could be fun.
That would be good. I mean, they're going to come up with something that like some kind of a new system in the middle of the wirebug stuff, I would imagine, or at least some new switch skills or something like that. They're going to come up with something in that vein. We'll just have to see what that ends up being, but I'm excited for that either way.
Super excited, yeah.
So for our final topic, we usually don't really report too much on leaks, but due to the fact that there's not really a whole
I'm not
lot.
a fan of leaks. I mean, it gives me heartburn.
Yeah. Okay. But it's like,
sorry, I had.
I'm not a huge fan of leaks in general either. It's just in this case, we don't have a whole lot to report on now. Is looking up like Monster Hunter news, and instantly one of the first things that pops up. It's not like a big leak. It's not super detailed or anything. It's just like kind of something that made me think about a discussion topic. And I was like, oh, I could just bring up this discussion topic, but it's like, oh, you saw the leak, didn't you, Ruri? Yeah, I saw the leak. It's not really a big
I haven't,
leak.
so I actually have no idea what you're talking about. So this would be interesting.
But there's someone who is apparently a known Nintendo leaker to the point where I saw this in like at least 2 or 3 different mainstream websites. I don't know what his actual name is.
Man.
I don't actually know what his name is. I know that he had like a picture of Samus in his profile picture. I'm sorry, but like this is apparently someone who
don't make it easier for people to find this person.
But I know that this is a known Nintendo leaker, and in one of his updates he said that it is highly likely that the various Monster Hunter reveals have been moved to the Game Awards. So that would indicate that there's Monster Hunter reveals related to Nintendo specifically. And it's like, we know that Sunbreak is like a multi-platform type of thing, even though Nintendo still is pushing Sunbreak, obviously. But it's like, I kind of feel like there's not that much to reveal in terms of Sunbreak. Like, maybe we get a new trailer at the Game Awards, but
of course we are. Like, why wouldn't we? This to me feels like weather, like a horoscope predicting, which is like, I mean, seriously, it's like, hey,
but it's like, listen,
Capcom's going to announce something at next E3 that's going to be interesting. It's
but
like,
this is someone
shit.
who apparently has like a track record with predicting stuff that happens around Nintendo, and so.
Well, Nintendo's got a weird marketing leak. There's someone in their marketing department where, like, they when they get access to a trailer or talk about a trailer, it seems like they have a leak there. It just there's different games that seem to get leaked only at points where you think, okay, someone in their marketing saw it and they said it.
But basically, this got me thinking that, like, what if it was?
But why would you think it has to do with the Nintendo though?
Because this person leaks Nintendo stuff exclusively, so you only leak stuff about Nintendo.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Sunbreak's going to be also on PC. It's just it's not Nintendo specific.
Yeah, but I was, my imagination juices got going, and I was thinking, oh, what if it was a remaster though? What if?
Why would they announce a remaster right before they begin their marketing campaign for Sunbreak?
What if we would get Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate on the Switch?
What, this winter to hold us over?
I don't know. Anytime. I don't care if it's like a holiday season next year. What if we would just get like a remaster of 4 Ultimate? Like, let's put it like this, okay? So the idea then that came to me was to ask you, if you could have any Monster Hunter remastered and ported either to the Switch or the Switch and PC. If you could have any of them, any of the older games, which one would you want?
Before we go there, before I lose this thought, I just want to say, like, you said this leaker said it was pushed back until the Game Awards.
It's likely that the actual quote is, it's highly likely the various Monster Hunter reveals have been moved to the Game Awards. I haven't seen the previous.
What the hell does that mean? Moved? Like, there's no other slot to announce shit this year.
Maybe he had predicted like a direct or something. I don't know.
That sounds like bullshit to me. I mean, why?
It's like,
yeah, maybe they were. I imagine Capcom
like
on their track record are gonna do. They're gonna do one more dev diary before the end of the year, usually, right? Yeah. That would be the best guess because that's Capcom. They like to end the year with something, right? They usually do that. So would they then say, you know what? If all the eyes are on the Games Awards, why don't we show off our second trailer there? Because remember, they only ever called the first one a teaser. To them, they haven't actually like given out the first actual trailer, right? Showing any actions or anything. So would it make sense for them to show it at the game trailers, even though the game's coming out in half a year? Of course. Yeah. Half a year is almost like perfect timing to start your marketing campaign. It's a little early for them probably, but it's a good timing. Like, it just seems like such a no shit thing. It's like, what do you mean it's high? Well, duh. And it's like moved. Like, where would it have been? I don't know. I don't like to give a lot of these leakers credit because I think a lot of the stuff they're doing is just like, you are someone who is empathetic, but it doesn't always show. Or, you make general broad statements that like apply no matter what. And then you can say, well, that's what I heard.
It's like
I don't give any credit to that
It's
shit.
like the Switch Pro. It's coming, guys.
Oh, it must have been the transistor. They had it planned, but it was the transistor shortage that made it not possible for them to do it. There's always some excuse, right? It's cold reading, basically, right? Hey, I'm feeling. Is there a game publisher over here that has a big announcement for E3? I'm feeling it. Something that starts with an S or has an S or ends in an S or maybe Devil May Cry. Yes, it's a series. That's where I was getting that S from. Yes, your father is talking to me. It's cold reading bullshit, or it's a legitimate person in their marketing who has seen something and is saying, "Hey man, I know they're going to show something," and they can go fuck themselves. I'm sorry for my colorful language, but that's exactly what they can go do.
Okay, let's move past it though.
Okay. Sorry, I hate leaking, so I had to.
If you could get like any Monster Hunter game remastered, which one would it be? Dun, 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 dun. Here we go. I mean, to me, I don't even have to hesitate. It's for Ultimate, dude.
No, it's for Ultimate.
It's for Ultimate. Give me for Ultimate all day.
Because I don't think they.
So imagine if for some, because I mean, look, Capcom's got Rise on PC on the 12th of January, right? But this would be a Nintendo.
They got way too much coming out. There's no way they're
listen.
Listen.
They have Rise on PC in January, but this would be a Nintendo announcement. And it's
I don't know where you think it's a Nintendo announcement.
Okay,
Nintendo would have access to trailers even. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, so it's like, so they have Rise, but it's on PC, so they don't have anything for Nintendo until summer. So what if, God, I'm setting up myself for so much disappointment. What if in the Game Wars they just go like, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate Remastered and glorious HD. I mean, come on, dude. Don't tell me you wouldn't be hyped about that. Come on. I mean, well, then again, you've played 4 Ultimate recently, so maybe you wouldn't be that hyped.
I've played it 4 times.
Yeah, exactly.
What's actually, what's really interesting is I think Yuna doesn't want to finish the game. I could be wrong. I think the old
style,
not tedious, but the old
clunky, what people call the clunky combat.
She's probably
playing the wrong
a little bit of a
dude.
burnout right now. So like she's playing them all back to back, and the thing is like making that Sedegio set for G2 took so much time and so much effort that I think now she's looking at the list of key quests. She's like, "There's so many." Oh, We'll do it eventually, and she's losing her drive to finish for you, and I could see why, which is fine. So we're taking a break. Would I be hyped for a remake? Of course, or not a
For
remake, a
Ultimate.
remaster.
I mean, I take.
But do I think it would happen?
I'll take a remake. Hey, if they
But
want to give me a
think,
remake, hey.
do I think they would? Do I think they would make it or announce it anywhere before Sunbreak? Hell no.
You think that's like all hands on deck Sunbreak?
I don't see it happening because like they just got so much going on, right? They've got the next big Monster Hunter, that they're working on. Then you've got Sunbreak, which is a director's debut. They want to clear the roadmap, the slate, so that there's a clear messaging that this is the next big thing. This is what people should be looking at and playing. You got all these things going on, right? It's just like why would they throw a wrench in the middle of that? It's not like Rise isn't selling still.
What if
Sunbreak's going to help sell Rise?
What if there's a connection with the land that Sunbreak takes place in, and for Ultimate? Damn it!
I don't see it. I'm sorry.
I need it. I just want for Ultimate.
Would I be
hyped?
Switch? Would I be hyped for 4? Yeah, yes, I would. But I also am already seeing with my daughter that I don't know if people who started on Rise or World would be
interested in For Ultimate.
That interested. Also, it's such a big game that I think if you got people into playing it, it would take away their attention once the actual marketing campaign for Sunrise started in earnest. I think they would be too distracted. Because For You is such an engaging, wonderful game that I think that's easily half a year of a community being engaged. And then you're going to tell them, hey, 6 months later, okay, everyone pull out. Go play Sunbreak. I don't see that. I think you'd be crippling your sales for Sunbreak.
I saw this. I'm sorry, guys. I saw this leak and I allowed myself to get excited. I was like, oh, man, could it be a remaster? Could it be For You?
I can see right behind me on my back, I feel the hand of Kogath. It's like a spirit that has summoned, says, please stomp this dream.
Okay.
I think a prime time for remasters will be a year after Sunbreak. Because if Nintendo doesn't announce a new console by the time the next big Monster Hunter comes and they get left out, because I think it's safe to guarantee that the next big Monster Hunter is going to be a console one, right?
Yes.
Like, if Nintendo's not at a point where they can be part of that multi-platform game, then I think a remaster would be the perfect way to keep the fans of Monster Hunter served something on the side while everyone else goes to enjoy that. I think that would be perfect timing. Ideally, Nintendo will have something out or in the works where they'll say this is also going to hit the Switch 2 or whatever it might be called. I don't know. But I mean, we're still so far out anyways. Who knows what could happen? So I just don't see a remaster happening anytime soon.
I'm also thinking like more and more about whatever Capcom is working on next, because like they gotta be feeling pressure for the next Monster Hunter for the next big one.
Yeah. Plus, also like remasters take a considerable amount of effort, right? Even if they were to outsource it, which I don't think they would, because it's the Monster Hunter team. That you would still need a lot of technical directors and game designers on how to redesign the UI from the touch to whatever. Like look at what is it? Generations Ultimate, right?
Yeah, that still took a long ass time.
They remastered that on the Switch, and their expected sales of that were like 200,000 copies, 300,000, and that's exactly what it sold. That's what success means for a remastered. So we're not talking a big fish here to chase.
Yeah.
It just seems like they would be better off trying to get people excited about Sunbreak and sell copies of Rise before Sunbreak comes out.
Yeah.
There'd be more financial opportunity there than to actually put any resources on doing a remaster of an old 3DS game and then confusing people about what Monster Hunter means on the Switch, because it's essentially the most high-paced action version we've ever had of the franchise. So it's a direct contrast to the old For You style of gameplay.
Yeah.
I just don't. I'm sorry. I don't.
I've
convinced myself. maybe I've just convinced myself so I don't ever get my dream crushed, but I just don't see it happening. Capcom is just not a company that, not Capcom. Capcom is a company that likes to go back and rehash stuff. I would say the Monster Hunter team doesn't strike me as the team that would want to go back and
forward. Yeah,
they want to move forward. I think, at least that's the feeling I get usually from them. Could be wrong, but
and it's like another thing that I'm curious. Do you how much pressure do you think they're feeling about the next big one? So like Monster Hunter 6, due to the record check, because like. Do you think that 6 breaks the records that World did? Because I don't see that happen.
No.
It can't do it.
I don't.
It's like
no. I mean, sequel. This is a weird one, right?
But do you think? But here's the thing. So you and I, we look at it and we're like, okay, there's no way that it can there might be. They might pull something like a magic rabbit out of hat. Of course, there's always a way. What I'm saying is like, it will be extremely hard for 6 to replicate the success of World, because World was just like this breakout thing. It was like the perfect storm, right? And everybody's like, oh my God, this Monster Hunter thing is crazy. It was like that wow effect.
It was like the first release ever for the franchise in the West, basically.
Yeah.
So sequels never sell as well as the original. They're never as big, usually. Not always. Usually, sequels are a harder sell, right? Because now people already know the name Monster Hunter. There's no more surprise. Like, what is this new thing on the scene that everyone's talking about? Like, it's established now, right? So now you have people who are already convinced that they're not interested in this franchise. So it would be hard. I think there's a lot of pressure, and for it to be wildly successful, oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I would not want to be, I would assume Tokuda-san. I would not want to be him. Can you imagine the pressure on his shoulders? Yeah, exactly.
That's
of after 20 million sales.
It's like
next one's going to have to be huge.
It's literally like you guys have made the best game, the most successful game we've ever done in this company. Now make a better one. It's like
yep. Or make one just as good. I mean, like, do I think they can? Yeah. Do I think they will? Can. Yes.
Yeah.
Would one be excited at the opportunity ahead of them? Sure. Would one also be scared shitless?
Oh yeah. Because like God. you guys need to understand that's the way that companies that the higher ups look at this. They're just like they look at it. Well, the other one did fantastic, so make a better one. It's like it's literally they just turned down to the people below them. It's like, yeah, we like that last one you did. Make a better one of those.
However,
like, yeah,
there's one thing that could make it. There's one thing that could make it as or better, more successful than World, which is
crossplay.
I think. Well, did you see? They sold a significant amount of World and Iceborne on PC.
Yes.
Despite the fact that it was not day and day. Can you imagine if it was day and day?
Which it will be.
Yes.
Because they've reaffirmed that.
I don't think there's. I think there's more people
solution. That's the solution. Yeah. Day and date.
I think there's more people who will buy
crossplay.
It than. Yes, okay, maybe double dippers you have less, but face there's not that many people double dipping. That's a niche thing for us mega fans, but like, I think that's going to be what helps them get close to the same goals, and I think it's a smart move.
Yeah,
super smart move, especially if they're designing for next gen, so they'll already have, it'll be up to snuff. They'll need scalability is going to be a thing.
You think Sony's going to try to shut that down? God, because it's like I got to be honest. Like I said, like and people know I play my PlayStation like every day. I like my games that I have on play, all of that stuff. But it's like I think of that scenario, right? The scenario where Monster Hunter 6 comes out in every platform, same time, with crossplay, and the first thing that instantly comes in my mind is like, how would Sony feel about this? Like, I don't even consider like how would Microsoft feel about it, because I'm sure they'd love it. How would Nintendo feel about this? They'd probably love it too. How'd PC feel about this? Gabe loves that stuff. He doesn't care. Epic Game Store, they'd love it too. They don't care. And it's like the one spanner in the works is always going to be Sony. You think about it and you're like, how would Jim Ryan feel about that? Jim Ryan would probably be the one going like, how'd you guys like to release that exclusively on PlayStation 5?
Oh, I'm sure they've already told them, hey, can we get like a time exclusive release for, we'll give you Epic
God.
Game Store because they have a stake in Epic Game
Yeah.
Store. So that's why you're seeing all these,
Yeah.
PlayStation 5 and Epic Game Store releases is because they have a stake in it. So
And it's like,
but you think that Capcom, who knows that Steam has a bigger bigger base, that's where they saw success. You think they would go for a deal like that? They'd be like,
no,
Sony.
they're not going to
So
go.
you're gonna pay us a minimum guarantee of 20 million copies then? Okay.
No,
And with Sony's like, whoa, wait a second.
but here's
We're not paying you that much money.
but here's the thing. Which one do you think would be the bigger thing for them? What if imagine if they go like, okay, Sony, we need crossplay, because I mean they're not going to have the pull of Fortnite, because Fortnite has pull. Fortnite forced their hand. They're like, no, you're going to give us crossplay. Like, our game's successful as hell. You're going to give us crossplay. And they gave them crossplay. And then eventually they did it for a couple more people, like they did it for Rocket League, and there's a couple more games. And it's like, do you think that Capcom would have the balls to be like, okay, you guys can play on your little pool, and we'll just like do crossplay with PC, Xbox, and potentially Switch Pro if they would eventually do that? Imagine if Capcom would do. You guys can play on your little pool over there. Yeah, I don't see that.
I don't see
them
Capcom bending their knee at all to them, because I mean they've been embracing multi-platform. Now they're embracing PC. Like
The
Sony
next step is
just
crossplay.
They're trying so hard to just be their own little like, exclusive little bubble that they're just gonna be like, okay, bye.
Yeah, the problem is that like if they're not careful, that type of attitude is going to be really bad for PlayStation next generation. They can't.
I hope it blows up in their face because it's a bad attitude.
I would like it not, because I have a considerable amount of PlayStation games. I'd rather it not blow up in their face. I'd rather them actually like realize the error of their ways and go like, hey, maybe let's not censor video games. Maybe let's not, like try to make everything an exclusive. Maybe there's actually more to win by just having more people. I don't know. But yeah,
I think yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I crossplay, would that ever be a thing? I don't know.
I think that is the way to beat the success of Monster Hunter World, is just
Cross
like we
save. I could see cross save
Cross
much easier than I
progress?
could see cross play. Yeah, because all they would have to do for that is to implement.
And they'd get the
a
double
Monster Hunter-
dippers. They'd get the
Yeah.
double dip that
So
way too.
all they would have to do is implement and I say only, it's a tough thing, but they would have to make a Monster Hunter ID, or they link it to your Capcom ID, which could happen because they've been trying very hard to change their membership ID system over the last few years here. They have a new database where they killed the Capcom account, and now they're on Capcom ID.
But
It's a weird thing. But all they need is their own login credentials, like Minecraft
But it's like,
or whatever, or
listen.
Fortnite.
You've heard about this game, Outriders? You've never heard of Outriders? Okay, so Outriders is like a looter shooter that is made by People Can Fly, and it's published by Square Enix. And this is like, I think in the grand scheme of things, it's like a little bit of a smaller studio. I think this is like a 40 euro game. I'm not sure how much the game actually cost. They sent me a code. But the thing about that game was, on launch, you could play it Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, PC, all cross-play, all cross-progression, everything. It's
But
always
they have their
online.
own, and they have their own account system, I assume, right? It must be the Square Enix members ID. It's got to be.
Actually, I don't remember what it was. Yeah, it probably is. It probably is the Square Enix thing. It was also
as
working.
long as they implement an
and
ID,
here's the
it
thing.
shouldn't be that hard.
It was also working with Epic Game Store, and recently they've put Stadia in the mix as well. So it's like it's doing crossplay with all of these platforms. So it's like,
Yeah.
if People Can Fly can do it, I'm like, dude, Capcom can absolutely do it. There's no way they can't do it. And I think that would be the thing that sets it apart. It's like you could actually just straight up say, hunt with anyone in any platform.
Any platform. Yeah, I think that's what they should be aiming for. I totally agree. Could they do it? Yeah. Cross progression, I see. But I mean, they just need to get over the hump whether or not they're willing to create a Capcom ID. But if they're going to be embracing PC as hard as they are, I think it's a good idea for them to do that. Then they can start managing save data. They can start managing accounts. They can start managing membership levels. They can get people integrated into the ecosystem, so to say, of Capcom.
The one thing they need to not embrace is that garbage ass de nouveau DRM software. They got to get rid of that stuff. Jesus Christ.
See, that's where they've been so tone deaf up until now. I don't know if they would ever wake up to it. I think in Japan, the PC market, for better or worse, is still so immature that I just don't. And I mean, obviously, they're not taking, or maybe their U.S. office is giving them the advice, but it's like, you need DRM for day one. You've got to protect those day one sales. So de nouveau is the way to do it.
De nouveau is so bad. Like, that was the one criticism that I had about the PC version of Monster Hunter is like, and they're doing it again for Rise. Rise has
so I don't see. I mean, it's gonna be one of the scenes. Was it successful on the PC despite having it? Yes. Okay, then we're good.
Yeah,
but we're like, problem. But you could be more successful if you didn't have it. Yeah, prove that. You can't prove it. So it's like, do I think anyone over there's gonna move? Probably not.
And it's like, I was actually checking today before this. I was on Steam and I was checking the reviews for Iceborne because I was actually not checking for reviews. I was checking for the price because there's a lot of discounts right now. And you can actually get like the Master Edition of Monster Hunter for like $35 or something like that. The Master Edition of World and Iceborne. And as I was clicking through that, I noticed that the reviews of Iceborne were mixed. And I was like, what? And I go and I check and it's a bunch of people complaining about like performance issues. And I'm wondering how many of those performance issues are generated by stinking de nouveau, dude. Because de nouveau is just this trash, garbage software that it literally makes anything it touches worse. It just literally makes it worse. It has a net negative effect on anybody that uses it. There's just a net negative effect on the video game that it gets used on. It's just terrible. And at which point are companies finally going to be like, hey, you know what? This is actually wrong because, you know, people are already playing, you know, maybe they won't play it day one, but, you know, the pirated version of the software is going to be online in day two. And the people that actually pirate our software, they're going to end up having a better experience than the people that pay for our software. Like, come on, dude. De nouveau is a cancer in this industry. Not to mention, recently, there were a bunch of games that stopped working because someone forgot to renew like a de nouveau domain. And so a lot of games were trying to phone home and they couldn't. And the game just like literally wouldn't work. Like, people had the license. They owned, not the game, they owned the license to the game and they couldn't play it because of DRM, which is so incredibly ridiculous.
Okay, well, let me give you a message of hope. Here's an idea.
Okay.
If Capcom is disinvested in PC going forward, what if they come up with their own DRM solution?
Oh, God, no. You're going to ask for a Capcom launcher, dude? PC gamers will tear that to shreds. Listen, PC gamers want Steam or death. Unfortunately.
No, but I mean like Steam, but with a DRM created by Capcom for their own game.
Yeah, they don't like that either.
Do that.
I mean, basically, that would be the equivalent of what Ubisoft does, which is like, you need to, you know, basically when you go to Steam, you have your license on Steam, but it still launches through Uplay, which is terrible. So that's essentially
the problem is that de nouveau is such an easy checkbox for companies, right? Publishers to say, hey, are you successful? Yes. Are you protecting your day one sales through DRM? Yep. And you're not responsible for the solution or how it's implemented. It's a third party. We've paid them and entrusted them. They're liable. Yeah, huh? Okay. We're good.
It's so bad. It's so incredible. But
hopefully they'll shape up before that. I don't know.
We'll see. But anyways, that's this week's podcast. Thank you all very much for hanging out with us. I'm incredibly sleepy. I can barely speak right now. What have
But
you got?
we'll look forward to talking about Sonic in the next one. It'll be really fun.
And in the next one, we'll talk about Sonic, and we'll try. I'll try to see if I can get us a guest. It's just this week was also kind of like very on top of the knee. Because
I was in and out, so it's been a tough one.
Yeah, it's been a tough one for the both of us. So yeah, but we still wanted to put on a show because we did make the time. So we hope you guys still enjoy it, and if you did, hit the like button, the usual stuff. We'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe,
Stay healthy, damn it.
yeah.